Well, we can't forget these images. Thousands taken to the streets over the summer protesting police brutality and racial injustice.
And among the crowds marching, elected officials. Some of you have asked, should they be actively participating in these protests?
Also tonight, Denver 7 investigator Jennifer Kovaleski is going 360.
From the streets of Denver.
We will not allow this cancer to continue to kill our community.
To Aurora City Hall. Local elected leaders are using their own voices to call for change.
We want to see police officers being held accountable.
They've clashed with police.
They don't know. They barely know how to read.
And used megaphones to speak their truth.
We're not asking for special treatment. Black people aren't asking for special treatment. We're just asking to be treated like humans.
But should those elected into office be actively participating in protests? When does it cross the line? Or does it? In tonight's 360, you'll hear 7 different perspectives on the changing landscape of local politics.
When I say Black lives, you say matters.
Let's begin with perhaps the most vocal voice in the debate.
Folks are used to the established old guard, and we're done with that.
Denver School Board Director Tay Anderson is unapologetic about who he is and what he's about.
I come out because I want you to understand I'm out here with you.
He says voters knew he was an activist when they elected him.
Individuals knew who they were voting for. It wasn't a secret.
Neither is the fact that some have criticized him for doing it, saying he's too focused on protesting and not focused enough on the school board.
I pride myself in as I've never missed a school board meeting. I've never had to tell folks, no, I'm not coming to this meeting, I'm protesting.
I think they know that they're really stretching the boundaries.
Aurora Police Union President Mark Sears says they're doing more harm than good.
I just think it sends a negative message to their constituents even, that have voted for them to be in office, and now you're actually breaking the law.
He's talking about Aurora Councilwoman Allison Coombs. That's her in the rainbow face covering at a protest for Elijah McClain back in June.
What are these people doing wrong right now? Can you
Police body cam video shows Coombs ignoring the officer's orders for several minutes.
What are they doing wrong?
It's ironic to me that cops break the law, we go to jail. How come elected officials are breaking the law, but they're not going to jail?
I think that if they believe they have grounds to charge me with a crime, they should.
Councilwoman Coombs says she too was elected as an activist, which she says is part of a growing movement in local politics.
We're electing people who rose up into leadership as a result of already being activists, and we're not just going to leave that behind because we got elected. It would be disingenuous to who we are for us to do so.
Coombs says by disobeying the officer's orders to move back, she was taking a stand against an unjust law.
And if that's the consequence of standing for people who are saying, stop killing us, get your knee off our necks, then I will take that consequence.
She also hopes her activism sends a message to other politicians.
I hope that we are creating a culture where political cowardice is not accepted.
Really, I think the era of inaction on the part of elected officials is over.
Aurora Councilman Juan Marcano was also an activist before getting into politics. He's gone to protests and says he's simply there to listen.
I really feel it's my responsibility to go and bear witness to what's actually happening.
But what about that Aurora protest in June, when things got ugly?
I do not condone property violence, and I especially do not condone violence against other people.
And we can't talk about local activism without talking about Denver City Councilwoman Candy Tabaka.
They don't know They do what they're told.
That's her on body cam video clashing with police as officers were trying to clear a homeless camp. Tabaka also took heat for this video she posted on her Facebook page after things calmed down.
Anybody who was hurt needs to sue.
In it, you can hear the councilwoman encouraging people to sue police.
The liability went up after the state law changed. Everybody needs to start suing.
Tabaka defended her actions back in August, saying she was defending her constituents.
When they reach out to me, I show up, which is what I thought the job was supposed to be and what I thought our mayor and everybody else in our city government signed up to do as well.
The councilwoman did not respond to our request for comment for this 360 report, but Denver's mayor had plenty to say after it happened.
I don't think in the entire time I've been in government, I have seen anything that's disturbed me more.
Mayor Hancock called her behavior as an elected leader troubling.
And when I heard her voice, it just sank. I could not believe that a public official was doing what is happening on that video.
Taking this 360 full circle.
But it's almost certainly the largest social movement in U.S. history.
DU political scientist Laurel Eckhouse says historically protesting is seen as an outsider strategy, meaning those who protest typically don't have access to political power.
It might seem a little bit strange to have insiders, right, elected officials, joining those outsider strategies.
But it's clear the number's growing as many of those we vote into office find their participation is the best way to hear the concerns of those they represent.
Politicians coming to believe that the protesters are important constituents for them, that they're not niche.
Making the question of how far is too far a new consideration for you, the voter, as well. I'm Denver 7 investigator Jennifer Kowaleski.
And listen, if we missed your perspective in our reporting, we want to hear it. Please email us 360@thedenverchannel.com, or you can always weigh in right now on the Denver 7 Facebook page.